Hey guys, this is Jordan Farrell here, just with some quick thoughts regarding Alan Gustafson. A lot of Chase Elliott fans right now are kind of debating whether or not Alan Gustafson maybe should be fired or whatever after the incident where Chase ran out of gas at Watkins Glen based on Alan making a big decision on fuel mileage strategy based on bad information. And truth be told here, Alan Gustafson isn't truly the one to really blame in this situation. Yes, Alan was the one that made the decision. Yes, Alan played a part in it because Alan didn't double check the data that he was given. And with crew chief with his level of experience, especially when you are a championship winning crew chief in the past, I mean, for goodness sake, Alan Gustafson's been with Hendrick Motorsports since Mark Martin and Kyle Busch were driving for them back in the day. Yeah, he was the crew chief for Jeff Gordon on the back end of his career. He's been with Chase Elliott all the way since Chase first came up to the Cup Series. He's got plenty of experience, and he's won a championship with Chase Elliott. So obviously Alan Gustafson should have the wealth of experience and knowledge to know to double check the data that he's being fed before he goes and makes a big decision like that. So in a way, yes, you can blame Alan Gustafson. You can totally try to pin this on him. But at the end of the day, it's not solely his fault. Now, is Chase Elliott to possibly blame in this? No, because I know Denny Hamlin brought it up on his podcast earlier today that Chase has enough experience to where he should have been on Alan when Alan was feeding him that information about when to flip the switch and how many times to do it before he finally came into pit road. Look, guys, the driver, there's no fuel gauge in these cars. Yes, Chase may have had a little bit of an idea that he was maybe not going to make it that far, but when you're the driver, your job is solely to basically just do as you're told. I talk to Jeremy Clements a lot, as I know him and cover him in the Xfinity series. In fact, the outlet that I work with sponsors him, and so I get plenty of chances to talk to him. And one of the things that he will frequently say when you go and ask him stuff involving race strategy is, I don't know, I'm just a driver. That's basically the case. The driver's all they can do is just feed information and how the car is handling to see if the crew chief can find a way to fix it and make adjustments. They really can't just argue with the crew chief regardless if they disagree with them. So maybe Chase knew and had an idea. Maybe Chase might be a little bit upset with Alan Gustafson himself because, Chase may have kind of figured he was about to run out of gas, but at the end of the day, you're not going to sit here and infight with your crew chief over the radio in the car because your job is to do what they tell you to do and just drive the race car. So I don't put any much blame on Chase Elliott, if really any blame at all. So at the end of the day, should Alan Gustafson be fired for this? No. Because Alan's a very good crew chief. He is one of the best in the sport. He's been at Hendrick Motorsports for as long as he has for a while. And so Alan's not going to go anywhere. But I do think Hendrick should really look into who was feeding that data to him to help him make that decision. Obviously, this is going to be a big learning experience for Alan. He will probably start to double check everything that he is being fed from now on. But at the end of the day, hopefully Hendrick will look into this and try to figure out where the bad information came from, because these teams aren't just coming up with the data on site anymore. You've got back at the headquarters in Charlotte, every team's got a war room set up, kind of like they have in Formula One, where they're looking at all the data, everything going on track with the other teams, what the other teams are doing strategy-wise, all the information coming from the onboard computers and stuff inside the car. They've got a whole entire room set up, and it's almost like the SEC or the MLB replay room set up on site there at each of the shops. So Hendrick's got an entire war room full of people feeding information to each of their teams. Somebody in Hendrick's war room made a big mistake on Sunday, and that's really what it boils down to here. So we'll see if Hendrick Motorsports looks into it and maybe make some changes there. But it was just a big, honest mistake that really you just can't pin all the blame on any one person for here. There were a lot of people involved. And ultimately, unfortunately, it may just have ended up costing Chase Elliott any chance at the playoffs this year. Alright, so that'll do it for my quick thoughts here on this. I've just been ruminating on this for a while since I heard Denny Hamlin's spiel on it earlier. Speaking of which, Denny Hamlin can't say anything about Chase's experience on that either, because Denny Hamlin once ran out of gas and when asked about it said the exact same thing I said a minute ago. Well, my job is to drive the car. I'm just doing as I'm told. So Can we really trust what Denny Hamlin's saying on that, basically? Because he's kind of basically calling out Chase Elliott for no particular reason in all this. Anyway, that'll do it for now. Let's look ahead to Daytona now.